Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am showing you all my 2024 luxury beauty favorites. This is always a very exciting video because I went through all the products that I tried out from 2024, regardless if they were new releases or just new to me items, and I put together my all-time favorite products from the year. And following this video, I always do an absolute favorite luxury beauty products just so you can see how these 2024 luxury beauty favorites stand against my all-time favorites, like my holy grail items. I do like to do that just to see if I had any holy grails that were replaced this year, or if maybe we need to wait for next year for even better items to come out. If you're not aware, my goal on my channel is to have a more curated collection. I don't like to just only test the newest releases, and I don't really want you guys to buy all the newest releases. I only am pretty much advising you on my absolute favorite products, just because I feel like there's just such an overwhelming amount of makeup these days that you must be overwhelmed as consumers because I'm overwhelmed as a creator. And anyways, that's just kind of the goal of my channel. If you are new to my channel, I like to keep a more curated collection with only the very best of the best items. That's just what my goal has been while creating a channel. So I do like to test my favorite products against these holy grails. So again, following this video, you will see my absolute favorite beauty products. But let's just talk about the best products of 2024. And like I said, they're not just necessarily new items that were released in 2024, but they're new to me items as well that I just had tried out for the first time this year. But if you want to see my favorite luxury beauty products of 2024, just keep watching. Before we get started in the makeup products, I did want to talk a little bit about my earrings. So these were sent from a brand called Idyl, and Idyl reached out to me and they actually offered to do a sponsorship video. However, I do not do sponsored videos on my channel. But I did receive these items to test for free, and I just wanted to talk about them because I have been loving these earrings. And if you know me, I'm somewhat of a creature of habit, as probably you guys know on my channel. I'm definitely a creature of habit. So you will see me wearing these earrings over and over. And I was just, from the moment that I opened these up, I was so impressed by the quality of these earrings and just how functional these earrings are. And I really love that they are modular as well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about these earrings. So Idyl is an awesome brand because not only is their quality excellent, but they're really about modular jewelry items. So I really like that you can get a 2-in-1 with all these jewelry items. So really you only have to buy the studs and you can buy add-ons because these studs are meant to pair with any of their add-ons so that you can get just a lot of use out of your jewelry versus you have to buy all new pieces. The studs are meant to be kind of the base and then you add on to that. And I just really like that aspect of it. And I also really like that Idyl has accessible prices for real diamonds. These are sustainable lab-grown diamonds and solid gold. They're also really high-quality materials that are going to last you for years. They're also items that you can wear while you are showering and you are working out. You can wear them to sleep. I personally choose to take off my jewelry when I sleep just because I'm always worried that I'm going to somehow like stretch my ears out or something. But I personally have showered with these earrings. I have worked out with these earrings and I have had no issues. In fact, I have got compliments. And actually, while I was opening these packages, my mom and my sister were here, and my mom really was blown away by the quality of these items. She was very, very impressed. And they are items that I would personally buy for presents. Like, I really think my sister would love these. And I think my mom would really love these as well because she was just really impressed by these. And I think she wants to buy these same pairs of earrings. And this is just so pretty. I wish you could see this in real life because how this sparkles in real life is truly phenomenal. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I wanted to showcase these earrings, and I did want to let you know that I do have a personalized link with Idyl. Like I said, this video is not sponsored, but I was sent these earrings, and I did want to include them because I just think they're absolutely stunning. They are gorgeous. The quality is there. I'm going to leave my link down below. I also have a 10% discount code if you use my link and my code. Again, everything will be down below. Thank you, Idyl, for sending over these jewelry items. I really, really do love them. And again, you will see them coming up on my channel because I'm not going to be able to stop wearing these earrings. I truly, truly from the bottom of my heart really love them, and I would never talk about anything that I don't personally love and that I wouldn't personally wear on an everyday basis. And these are hands down my new favorite jewelry item. So I forgot to advise that I have the Ono earrings on, which I think they're just so beautiful because they're not like a typical hoop, and I didn't want just a typical hoop. I wanted something that was still really elegant. Not that hoops aren't elegant, but I just thought this was an elegant twist on a hoop earring, and I really, really love it. The way these sparkle in person is just like nothing else, but obviously I wanted to tell you about the earrings that I have. I also got the Live add-on, which I think is really beautiful because it's a little bit like a dangly earring, but it's not super dangly. I just really like that I can get some versatility with that modularity aspect, and I just think that's really unique for a luxury jewelry brand to come out with. So thank you again so much, Idyl. Please check out their site and check out their products because they truly are stunning. When you see them in person, you will be blown away. I was just very, very pleasantly surprised when I opened up the package. It was so beautifully done. The way they sent it over was beautiful as well. So this is just something, if you want some special jewelry that is truly high quality, I would recommend checking it out because it is luxury jewelry at a more affordable price. And I'm just very, very pleasantly surprised, and I am blown away by the quality of it, and you will see me wear these earrings over and over. And you can use the code LisaBilson10 for 10% off all items on Idyl. So please let me know if you use my discount code, and let's just get started on my 2024 luxury beauty favorites. As always, I will be doing a get ready with me video using all these products in action so that you can see how I will use these. I'm going to start off with the skin, and this first item is a reformulation from Chantecaille. Chantecaille reformulated their Just Skin Tinted Moisturizer, and I wear mine in the shade Vanilla and Glow. Vanilla is probably a little bit better of a match for me than Glow is. Glow is just a little bit deeper and warmer, but honestly, both of these mixed together is probably my perfect match. But I'm really, really happy with this reformulation. Chantecaille is a brand that I'm reaching more towards for everyday makeup because they create fragrance-free, really high-quality products that meet the standards that I'm kind of going towards as I get older, as I'm trying to be really health conscious. And I really appreciate that Chantecaille is a luxury beauty brand that does not add fragrances into their products. As someone with very sensitive skin, and again, I kind of am moving more towards the quality of my health for the long term, I really appreciate this reformulation. And this reformulation is just so great because they made this foundation a little less dewy than the previous version. That's what I take from it. And I also feel like the coverage is a really beautiful light buildable to a light medium. I don't think you can quite get medium coverage out of this, but I really like that it has a natural skin finish. I don't feel like it leans too dewy or it doesn't lean too matte. I feel like it has that really nice skin-like finish. It has a very skin-like finish. And it just leaves a subtle glow, but it's not too glowy where you wear it in the summertime and it's just going to become greasy. What I really like about this foundation, though, is when you apply it, it gives you a veil of blurring, and it blurs the skin without adding a lot of coverage to your skin. It just is a very beautiful foundation on the skin, and I like that I can wear it all year round. I wore it in the summer when it was really hot and humid, and it didn't melt on my face. But now that we are in the more wintry, drier months, I can wear this and I don't have any discomfort on my skin. I don't have any dryness. It's a foundation that just wears beautifully all day long. It doesn't separate, it doesn't crease, it doesn't fade away awkwardly. It just remains very consistent on the skin. This formula is just exquisite. It's excellent. It's the best foundation that I tried of 2024. I feel like in 2024, we saw a lot of long-wearing, more matte foundations being released from luxury beauty houses. But this is right up my alley, and this is my absolute favorite. In fact, I have backups of this foundation because I don't want to be without it. That's how much I love it. I reach for this on a daily basis. If you're someone that wants more of that light coverage that lets your skin shine through, this is very beauty enhancing. It's just going to enhance your natural skin. It's going to enhance your natural beauty. Purchase this foundation and you will not regret it. It is stunning. The next item on my list, and the best concealer of 2024, is actually newly released, and this is the Westman Atelier Vital Skincare Concealer. I have the shade M1. M1 is a little bit too light and a little bit too yellow toned for me, but I can get it to work. It's really a lovely concealer. It's a little bit of a thicker concealer, and surprisingly for Westman Atelier, this is quite an opaque concealer. It offers you, I'm going to say, medium buildable to full coverage. You can definitely get medium coverage out of it, but you can get full coverage. This is not a typical Westman Atelier product where you think very light, natural, skin-like makeup. I feel like you can get a more skin-like quality out of this, but it is definitely more of a medium to full coverage foundation. This gives you coverage. And this is a really nice concealer because it also refracts the light a little bit. So when you apply it to your under eyes, I feel like it bounces off the light in a way that adds that blurring effect. I like that it's that more serum consistency because it's creamy enough that it hydrates my under eyes enough, but it's not too creamy that it's going to get creasy and it's going to crease throughout the day or fade away throughout the day because it's too glowy. Really, really enjoy this because it does actually set down by itself. So you don't require a powder over top if you are someone that does not like to reach for powders on your under eye region. But this is just really beautiful. I really like the quality of this. A lot of you guys ask if this has replaced my Surratt. No, it hasn't. Again, I'm going to do my absolute favorite beauty product. But this is a very close contender. They are honestly very, very similar in their formulation. The Westman Atelier just has a little bit more light refracting to it, but they are very similar, and this has been a standout concealer, and I'm really surprised by this and really happy with this formula. So this is the best concealer of 2024. I have to say I really wanted to mention this liquid blush from Armani as the best cream blush from 2024. This is the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint in the shade 41 Flaming Red. However, I just picked it up, and I don't feel like I can claim it's the best of 2024 when I haven't played with it as much. So I'm going to keep this in the running for 2025 and let you guys know how I feel about it maybe towards next year. Also do a midway beauty favorite, so I'm going to see if this still stacks up. But I do really love this, and I just wanted to mention it because I adore this formula, and I think it is just outstanding, and I love the way it looks. I feel like I love it most for the red color and how it looks on the cheeks, especially if you use it just sparingly. It's beautiful. But I'm going to move on to powder blushes. And my absolute favorite formula that I tried this year, surprisingly to me, is the NARS blush in the shade Behave. So again, NARS is known for their classic formula, but I actually wasn't a huge fan of the previous version because I just thought it was a little bit more, it was a matte powder blush that I thought was just a little bit flat on the skin, looked a little bit too drying on my skin, but this reformulation is really, really great. It actually is a very sheer, buildable blush, so I really like that because you don't get a lot of color payoff right away. It's very buildable on the skin, but I like that buildability because I feel like it just goes on very smoothly, very evenly onto the cheeks. And again, you can get a very soft look or you can build it up to be a little bit more opaque. It's never going to be like a full coverage powder blush though. But I'm just really, really impressed with the formula because it's incredibly finely milled and it looks stunning on the cheeks. It gives you that punch of color or that flush of color. It's not really a punch of color without it looking powdery on the skin at all. So I'm very, very impressed with this reformulation. This is better than the prior formulation if you are someone that wasn't a huge fan of that formula. I really love this. I also tried out the Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blush this year. Wow, I love this. This is like a typical powder blush. There's nothing special you could say about this formula. But I just really love this color. This is like a My Cheeks But Better sort of shade. And this just pairs well with so many colors, with so many looks that I create. I think it flatters my cheeks so well. I'm very impressed with this formula. Again, this is more of a hard pressed formula, similar to the NARS, so it is more buildable. And I just feel like this is such an underrated blush, and these are my two favorite powder blushes that I tried in 2024. I absolutely adore them. The powder highlighter that I was most impressed with this year is, again, something that's a newcomer, and this is the Hindash Gradient Highlighter in Doll Dynasty, which is a pink champagne shimmer. And I just really, really like this formulation because while this is a more intense highlighter where it's not something that's just going to build dimension on your skin, like it's not like one of the Hourglass Ambient powders, for example. This is definitely a typical powder highlighter, but it is so refined. The shimmer in this is very refined, very subtle. It's not going to be like that glowing from space type of highlighter, but it is buildable. So if you did want a more intense highlighter, you can build it up on the skin. This is a Baked Chalet highlighter, which are my favorite highlighters. Because a Baked Chalet highlighter has that quality where when you buff it onto the skin, it just melts right in. So it almost doesn't even look like you've applied a powder product. It really truly melts into the skin. And that gives you that beautiful, healthy, dewy glow. It's just so lovely on the cheeks. And like I said, I like it on the cheeks, but I like it on the eyes as well. This is something I typically reserve for a more special occasion just because I'm not someone who wears a normal like powder highlighter on a daily basis, but I absolutely love this formula. This is a really impressive release from Hindash. So this is my favorite highlighter of 2024. Powder was another really easy choice for me, and my favorite powder of 2024 is the recently reformulated Clay to Peau Refining Pressed Powder. Clé de Peau did reformulate this powder this year, and I'm so happy with the reformulation. I was very worried about it because the previous formula of this was my absolute favorite Holy Grail powder, but they did this reformulation right, and I'm so pleased with it. I wish they did have more shades, but this is the translucent shade, and what I really like about this powder is that it's not going to change your foundation underneath. It is a translucent powder, so it's not going to change the coverage or the color of your foundation. It is just going to add that blurring effect to your skin. If you're someone that likes that blurred look, but kind of wants your skin texture maybe just to be a little bit more mattified so you're not glowy all over, this is the powder for you. It is so gorgeous, and it also touches up beautifully as well. If you're someone that just needs to touch up your makeup because you're more oily, this is the powder you want to reach for because it is so lightweight. You cannot detect powder on the skin. This is virtually undetectable. Great for a no makeup powder if you just want something, again, that's going to mattify, that's going to blur the pores, it's going to add that filtered look without it changing the color or the coverage. It's not going to add any of that. It's just changing the texture of the skin. And I love it so, so much. So good from Clé de Peau. Please pick it up if you haven't already because it is so good. A cream bronzer that I tried that I really, really love, and again, it's not a new release. This has been released previously, but I just tried it out this year. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Light Medium. I really love this. This is definitely more of a neutral tone, and like it states on the back, this is an all-over warming complexion tint. This is not a cream bronzer. If you are looking for a cream bronzer and you pick this up, you will be disappointed because this is a skin enhancer. This is just going to add that healthy dimension back to your skin once you've applied a foundation all over your skin. And when you apply a foundation all over, it sort of takes the life out of your skin and you just look really flat. This will warm up your skin without adding so much contrast like a powder bronzer does, or just bronzing products in general. This will add that really smooth, natural transition where your cheeks just look like you have a healthy glow and it's very youthful versus it being obvious bronzer. So that is the difference between this and a cream bronzer. And I feel like there is just a place for both in your routine. This is very different from a bronzing product, and I prefer this to a bronzer if I just want a very natural look, which is what I'm normally going for on an everyday basis. And I really like this formula because it's a gel base, so it goes on really smoothly. It's really creamy. You would think that it wouldn't dry down. It would be very greasy on the skin, or that your hair would get stuck to it, but it does dry down to a little bit. It's not a full-on powder finish, but it does dry down, so you don't have to worry about any transfer. I'm just so impressed with this and so happy that I picked it up. The powder bronzer that is my absolute favorite for 2024 is the Chantecaille Sunstone Real Bronzer. Chantecaille did discontinue their real bronzers, and I am so upset. Sirena, which I have here, was their permanent bronzer, and I really loved this real bronze because it added the perfect amount of warmth to my skin. This Sunstone bronzer is a little bit more neutral and a little bit more lighter in tone, but I love this formulation because, again, it's one of those baked gelée powders. So these start out as a liquid and they are baked down into this compact, and because of this formulation, they are a very interesting formula because they start out very sheer, but they are very buildable. All these baked gelée products, that's the benefit of these, is that they are very buildable on the skin because they start out sheer, but you can really build them up as you see here. Like, that's a pretty good swatch. But my favorite quality about baked gelées is that because they start out as that cream and because they are really dense, they're just not powdery products. Like, when you dip your brush into these, you're not gonna see powder flying up anywhere. They are just very densely packed products. So you're gonna need a dense brush like this Refer 22 brush to pick up the product. And it's also going to look so skin-like on the skin. It is going to melt onto the skin. So after you've applied this powder, wait about 10 minutes and you will see it just becomes one with the skin. It melts in and it is very seamless. It is very smooth. You're not gonna see any lines of demarcation because of how seamless this product is, truly. Once you try it out, you will never go back from a baked gelée because you will just really appreciate these formulas. They're a little bit more expensive. I've noticed that a lot of baked gelée products are a little bit more expensive, and probably it's just because of how they are formulated and also just how they look on the skin. It's just something that I love to use if maybe I don't want to use creams because they're sometimes a little finicky. They can melt off the skin, but you're going to get that cream-like effect using these powders. And I just love this formula. So I hope that Chantecaille makes this bronzer permanent, or at least brings back a permanent shade, because this is my favorite powder bronzer. It's beautiful. Love, love, love it. And it has an ever so soft sheen. No detectable shimmer particles, no intermittent shimmer, but there is a slight sheen, a little bit of a skin-like quality, a skin-like glow. Again, very beauty enhancing powder. I love this. Now, there wasn't too many eyeshadows that I tried out or was very impressed with this year, but I absolutely love these Clé de Peau quads. I picked up this year 3 Clé de Peau quads, but my favorite of the 3 I picked up is this Coral Reef. So I previously had Beach Pebbles, but then in January 2024, I picked up a few more, and Coral Reef is my favorite of the 3 that I picked up. Even though it's called Coral Reef, these are definitely more of those dusty rose pink shades, and I love this one. And I'm so pleasantly surprised because I'm not someone that usually reaches for pink tones. I don't feel like they're normally very flattering on me, but there's something very flattering about this palette. You could have a primer shade here, which is more of a putty. It almost feels like a cream. And then it kind of transforms from a cream to powder. But when you use this as a base on your eyes, these powder formulas, they blend like a dream. There is truly nothing better than experiencing the blendability of these. They are so luxe, they are so buttery. They are pigmented without being too pigmented. They're very beginner friendly. They're mature skin friendly. Like I've stated 1,000 times, my mom loves these palettes as well. She has 3 of them herself. And you guys have asked me my mom's favorite, and it is the palette number 1. I forget the name of it, but it is palette 1. She really likes those more neutral, cool tones for that. So I'm actually going to do a look with that palette. That reminds me. And I need to have my mom back on the channel. But besides that, love this formula. The shimmers in here aren't like a metallic shimmer where there are chunky glitters. They're just very refined, very silky, very smooth, very skin flattering because they're very refined with no intermittent shimmer particles. Like this brown shade is my favorite shade in the palette. It's just so smooth and elegant and beautiful. Can't say enough good things about this. I did want to mention that I did pick up the Victoria Beckham eyewears, and I love this shade Trench for an everyday just eye look. I will literally apply this all over the lid, on the lower lash line, and it's such an easy one and done eyeshadow look. I'm probably going to go through this by next year. This has become a staple for me, especially when I just want something so easy that I can do basically with my eyes closed. I don't even have to put any thought into it. I don't have to put much effort into it because I just apply it messily and I can go about my day, and it just creates a really beautiful, again, beauty enhancing look where it doesn't look like I'm wearing obvious makeup. It's just very natural and very pretty. So it's what I like to reach for most occasions, because it's just very skin flattering. And for the one and done, I think Surratt released these in December of 2023, but I just wanted to mention the Souffle eyeshadows in Ciel Dore. That's my favorite. This is just beautiful. Again, this is like that flubber consistency. It's like Jell-O. It basically feels like Jell-O. And I love to wear these in combination together, the Victoria Beckham. And then if I do want a pop of a little bit of shimmer, but still very natural, I'll reach for this Surratt. Very unique texture, and it hasn't dried out at all. And it's just so stunning as a shimmer without it being chunky, without there being tons of reflection. Again, it's not a metallic. It is just that very sophisticated shimmer with no intermittent shimmer, so it's very elegant on the eye. And I did want to mention, probably my favorite one and done shadow was the Clé de Peau Solo Shadows that they released. However, these did not get released in the US, just Canada. And these are very similar to the palette, how they have that putty eyeshadow as a base. This is basically those putty eyeshadows, but in a solo shadow. And the beige one is my favorite. You can see how much I've used this. I love it as a one and done because it is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. It's virtually like the same color as my skin tone, but I love to apply it again over top of this Victoria Beckham. These are probably my favorite one and done combination. Really beautiful, really beauty enhancing, but natural beauty enhancing. It just makes you look like yourself, but a little bit elevated. And I really hope this comes to the US because I really love this eyeshadow and I wish I could talk about it more. Now a mascara that is my favorite from 2024, and this is not a new release. This is the Chantecaille Faux Ciel Longest Lash Mascara. Again, would love to see this in a brown shade. I love the length and the definition and the separation I get on my lashes. I love the strength my lashes have after wearing this mascara. I stopped using Latisse this year and I noticed that mascara was making my eyelashes worse, so I really stopped wearing mascara most of the time. But when I started using this, I noticed that I could actually wear mascara without my lashes like falling out every day. and without really worrying about them. I feel like my lashes still look really great, even though I have been not using Latisse for over 6 months now. It's probably been closer to like 9 months, and I'm just really pressed by this mascara. So yes, it is really pricey, but now that I'm not using eyelash growth serums, I do feel like the price is warranted for this because it keeps my eyelashes strong and strengthened and still looking really good, even though I'm not using a lash growth serum. So for me, this is absolutely worth it, and I really, really love this. My favorite lip product of 2024 is something that, actually, it's my favorite lip product because it's the only lip product I picked up in 2024. I really was on a mission not to buy any more lip products because they're definitely the things that expire the fastest. I never go through them because I'm someone that just reaches for the same thing. And I was really, really trying to make an effort not to just buy lip products because, again, they just expire so quickly. And they are products, like, even if you don't think they smell bad, you want to discard them. Like, I would say maximum keeping things for 2 years because there is quite a lot of bacteria on lip products, and you just don't want to be transferring that onto your lips, onto your mouth, because you are ingesting at least a little bit of that. So I am very particular with lip products, and I was very cautious about buying too many of them this year. So the only lip product I purchased with this was this NARS Explicit lipstick in the shade Envy. I did pick up backups of like my Chantecaille Lip Chic and Patience because this is something I know I'm going to use over and over again. It is something I have actually gone through. So I picked up that, and I did pick up backups of my YSL Candy Glaze. But a new lip product I did purchase was this. So I'm kind of just mentioning it because it is the only lip product I purchased. But not only that, this is a really beautiful lip product, and this is something that really reminds me of my Merit Signature Lightweight Lipstick. It has that same tacky kind of formula to it. It almost feels a little bit hard. It's a little bit, I guess, like a gel-based lipstick is what I want to say. It's a little bit more on the sheer side. It's more buildable. So I really do enjoy this. This is kind of a beige shade. It says that it's a mauve shade online, but this definitely leans like a very neutral beige on me. I would love to pick this up in more shades because, again, I am very impressed with the formula. I like that it's sheer. I like that it's buildable. I like that I can get not fully opaque coverage, but a little bit more opacity if I do want to build it up and add a little bit more. But I also, my favorite way to wear this is probably just going like this and dabbing it on my lip just lightly, but that's pretty much how I like to apply most lip products. I just really, really like this. I like the packaging. It's magnetic, and that's just, there's something really satisfying about that. But that is my favorite lip product of 2024. And that is everything for all my luxury beauty favorites of 2024. I'm trying to figure out if I forgot something. I did forget one thing. Okay, my favorite palette. This was a face palette from Chanel, and this is the Les Beige Healthy Glow Sunkissed Powder in the shade Light Coral. I really like this as a traveling palette. I will utilize this when I'm going traveling next year because you have the blush, bronzer, and highlighter in one. This blush color is not my favorite, I have to say. I'll probably bring a separate blush with me if I'm being honest. I do like this as a blush topper, but I do really, like, I'm really impressed with the bronzer and highlight. This highlight is more of a powder that's going to add dimension versus it being like a typical highlighter. There's a little bit of a sheen in here, but there's absolutely no shimmer particles to this. This is basically just a light powder, and I really like this formula. It is a typical powder formula. When you dip your brush in, you will see powder like kick up, but regardless of that, this is a very high quality, finely milled powder. It's velvety, it's buttery, it blends very beautifully into the skin. It's a little bit more pigmented than some of my other favorites, but I really like this all-in-one palette. I think it's very useful, especially if you are someone that travels quite a lot. Like I said, though, this blush isn't my absolute favorite, but out of all the colors that were released, this is my favorite color story. I like that it's a little bit lighter on my skin, so it's just going to really flatter my complexion. It's not going to be too high contrast. I just think it's flattering in all scenarios, and I've been really, really pleased by this formulation and just by how much I've been using this palette, even though sometimes I feel like palettes can be hard to recommend because I'm not sure how useful they can be for people, but this is a palette that I reached for quite a bit this year, and I am very impressed by it. That is everything for all my 2024 luxury beauty favorites. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me some of your favorites down below. I would love to, again, pick up any of your favorites that you highly recommend, that you insist that I try out. Love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.